Why do you live in Orono? What brought you to Orono?
Slide that up under your shirt.
I grew up, lived on the lake till I was 7. My dad got sick with MS and lost his job because of it, so we ended up moving into Long Lake, which is right here. And I ended up going to the Orono schools and graduating here. So eventually when I graduated, well, I joined the Navy.
Jay, I'm going to have you just about where I am right here.
Okay.
And
But then after I got out of the Navy, I came back, went to college.
let's have him face. Yeah, I want to.
You want me to be like this?
Yeah, you can look towards me.
Oh, okay.
You came back home from college?
And
Where'd you go to college?
university. I got a mechanical engineering degree.
Okay.
I was married. My wife and I finally had a chance to get a home out here, so we moved out. And I was poor out here, watching all the rich kids have fun. I finally got to have my house on Lake Minnetonka. You know, so I really enjoyed that. You know, and right after I got out here, I got myself elected or appointed to the Planning Commission, and 2 years later elected to the City Council.
What year?
98 when Jesse went. Actually, I think I'm going to go move my camera over.
You certainly can. Because you can see too much of my butt.
Yeah. Well, I can just, there we go. Actually, you know, I almost want to, because I want to make sure I pick you up talking, and my microphone's not the best.
As long as it's not in this shot.
No, that's fine. See, it's hard for me to see this. Or if I can see you, I bet I can see me. There you go. A little more. I want to make sure I catch everything. Well, just do me a favor and you speak up a little too, you know.
Hello.
Yep.
Ben.
Hey, Turbine guy here, right? Turbine guy coming right back at you, everybody. Time to be interviewed. But then I've lived in my house since 1996 out here. Once I started my YouTube channel, I started covering the local stuff, and that's why I end up here live streaming and stuff like that.
Live streaming this morning, and we're starting. So,
Yep.
live streaming this morning, what were you showing and what happened this morning?
Today, for the 3rd month in a row, Orono Mayor's had what he calls a coffee with the mayor, where he has coffee and donuts in an informal setting. He'll sit down and talk to the residents, answer questions. And so that's what today was about. And like I said, I like to record these or live stream them so the community can see what's happening too.
And that happens here at City Hall?
Yes.
There was a confrontation?
There ended up being, there was a really good conversation going on the fire department they want to build related to the Public Works building they spent $18 million on. And one of the gentlemen, Brad Erickson, who's had a bit of an issue with the city council lately, started asking questions, and another guy got angry, and then boom, next thing you know, we've got this big explosive confrontation.
Do you remember what questions Erickson was asking?
It was more about how are you going to pay for this fire department now that we spent all the money before.
And Erickson, is that someone, do you have any relationship with him?
I'm friends with him. I know what he's doing. I understand why he's doing what he's doing. He owns a business up here in Orono, and he's owned a business in Orono for 10, 12 years now.
I have my next question, but first I'm just kind of curious, what kind of business?
He owned the Orono gas station up there, which was a mini mall that had a bunch of other businesses in it too. And he recently sold that, and at the same time, there's a building next to it that he's got a lawn company. He goes around and fertilizes and does lawns.
And just where do you stand on the whole fire service issue?
Where do I stand?
Yeah, you think it's a good idea, bad idea, what?
I think it's a bad idea. I think it's wrong-headed to try to bully Long Lake into taking over their fire department. I think Orono and Long Lake should get along like good brothers instead of angry brothers. And I think Orono needs to back off and learn how to get along with Long Lake and accept that they're our brother and move on.
How do you think it would affect you, this Orono Fire Department? Obviously, it's probably a financial thing as well.
Yes, and to me, that's a big thing. They just bonded out for an $18 million Public Works building that was supposed to be like 6 or 8 and 12, and all of a sudden it's 18. And now we've got the mayor up here when he was asked last meeting, how do you know how much a fire station is going to cost? He says, well, by intuition. So I'm really concerned that we could end up with a $30 million fire station because they really don't know what they're doing.
How do you feel about the mayor's communication style?
I think it's very poor. I think he's locking out the people. I think he's going to do what he's going to do, and it doesn't matter what the residents think or want.
Just expand on that. What makes you say that?
He's cut down public comments from 5 minutes to 3 and moved them to the end of the meeting instead of the beginning, so people have to wait in order to do it. He gavels people right at 3 minutes to shut them up instead of let them finish their statement. I mean things like that. He's really aggressive about not listening to people. That's why.
We talked to him today. He said he's always open to, and correct me if I'm not putting his words accurately. He said he's always open to listening to people, having discussions about policy, but he feels these situations aren't about that. It's more just about personal attacks and making threats towards him.
Great question. And why I say that is because today specifically, when I was trying to ask him, when is enough enough? Look how much you spent on the Public Works building. How much is enough before you say this is too much, we're not going to do a new fire station? And his answer to me was, I don't hear you. I don't even hear you. And because obviously this could affect property taxes, correct? I believe it. I believe it will. When I was on the council, Orono was one of the lowest tax cities in the state. That's changed.
Yeah, that was my next question. So how much have your property taxes increased this year?
We've gone up 22 or 23% just 1 year over another out here. Now, I'm not sure how much that's because of the county and how much because of Orono. I haven't looked into it, but I know Orono's a part of it.
What needs to happen though, just more of these city council meetings and not where these outbursts and people are taking over the meeting, correct?
To an extent, I wouldn't say people are taking over the meeting. Today was a little bit unusual in that two people in the audience got upset with each other and came to a little bit of loggerheads. And, you know, the cops ended up showing up, but there was nothing for them to do. Deputy Chief Fisher came out, got in the middle and separated the guys, and it was no big deal. But there's been an atmosphere developed here, not by the residents, but by the actions of the city. Spending a lot of money, not listening to people. Orono right now has 5 active lawsuits against it. 9 communities around us have 4. Okay? That's why. People are not satisfied with what's going on up here. They don't see a lot of transparency, and they want the city to start listening to them. And I think if the mayor and the council actually started listening to the city, things would change.
Do you think you could go about conversations with the mayor in a different manner so he doesn't feel like it's a personal attack towards him?
There's no chance for me to have a conversation with this mayor. I mean, that's just period. And from what I've seen, if he doesn't like you, you aren't going to have the conversation. You know, if he likes you or whatever, he's more than willing to talk to you. But I always say beware of what he says because, I mean, I've proven it. He lied about attending ethics training. And if you're going to lie about attending ethics training, you lie about anything.
What about the mayor before him?
That was Lily McMillan. I think she was a pretty good mayor for the city. I think she was wrong-headed on a couple of issues like chasing my micro wind turbine. And she's actually kind of admitted it such since, and that she wishes things would have been different. But she was a much, much better leader for this city because she actually kind of did listen to people and didn't want this controversy to go on. I mean, she didn't think that it was her job to drive the city in the direction she thought. She thought it was her job to help the residents drive the city the way they wanted.
That's all I can think to ask. Do you have any questions? I don't. Anything else I forgot to ask you want to say?
I'm personally frustrated about what goes on up here during the meetings. The issues with Brad Erickson could be resolved fairly simply, but Mayor Walsh isn't willing to talk to him about it. That's a whole different story. But I really want the city to move forward. I don't know if you watch a Monday night meeting. I delivered 2 letters of resignation, one for the mayor and one for a councilman. And I really meant it when I said, you know, you guys have to be under a lot of stress. This affects your family because I went through that too years ago. And maybe it's just time, you know, you've done what you can for the city, which is great, but maybe it's time to move on. But I don't think there's any chance of them signing and doing whatever.
Ooh, signing.
Mayor Walsh and Councilman Crowder.
Why Councilman Crosby?
He has ties to the Proud Boys. He was on the Capitol steps during January 6th. There's some other issues that have come out that since they've come out in the public, he basically is missing every other meeting now and not doing his job. And yeah, okay, that might be a personal problem for you, but you got to show up and work.
You can't speak for Mr. Erickson, but just as far as you're aware, his beef with the mayor, is that mostly because of this fire service issue, or is it
No.
unrelated?
It's completely unrelated. You don't have to put this in, but I'll tell you just so you understand. I actually sat down with Brad and did an interview at his house the other morning. So I've got the beef on what it is. And a couple of years ago, Walsh Facebook messaged him links to a couple of videos. And these are anti-Semitic videos where in one of them they compared the Holocaust to the mask mandates. Now this is especially sensitive to Brad, because although he's not Jewish, his family's from Holland, and he had family members hiding in the wall while the Nazis came to take him to the concentration camps. So his grandfather, who this happened to, is extremely sensitive to this. It's a hard topic in their family, and to get that right-wing paraphernalia sent to you really upset Brad. And what he's been up here for is looking for an apology, looking for someone to acknowledge that this anti-Semitic stuff, this other right-wing rhetoric doesn't belong on our council, and we need to move forward about what's best with the community. So that's what upsets me.
Do you know what motivated the mayor to send that to him? Do you know if you knew that would have upset him? Or just that his family background, was he aware of that?
No, he wasn't aware of any of that. And Brad had one of my wind turbines up at his gas station at the time. I was in a lawsuit with Orno over these wind turbines, that Orno had sued me. And having another wind turbine in Orno was hard on their lawsuit, right? Because they're saying he can't have it because the ordinance says nobody can. And Brad wouldn't take it down. Well, the mayor put him in a position that either you take that turbine down or we will not support you with the county, they're rebuilding the road. And we won't support you with the county for the $900,000 you're seeking in damages while the road gets done, unless that turbine's down. Walsh did this because, and Brad will testify that happened. He's already written an affidavit. But after that, I think Walsh thought maybe Brad was his buddy and friend. And so he kind of sent these as an just, hey, look what I found, and sent them off. Because he must have been getting stuff and sending them. So I think it was more of an innocent thing, thinking that Brad was his friend and had no idea.
Thank you.
Too much chatting here. Keep chatting.
Hey, that's my job up here.
I think you do it well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've had a lot of compliments about how I do the news and stuff or whatever around here. But just like anybody else, I've got all kinds of anxieties about it. What the hat's for, now I'm somebody else.
How many viewers do you have on that?
Almost 12,000.
Jay, also, thank you.
Yep, it's doing a lot better than I ever thought it would, and hope you guys subscribe. That's all I
you.
can say.
Let me grab my mic back from you.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget to like the videos. Huh?
So you were there in person this morning then when this
Yes, absolutely. Once I caught it all on my YouTube. As soon as I saw them going up, boom, I turned it and all that. And when the cop came and talked to him, I got all of that with him getting. When you see the one guy come in at the end that separates them and just a regular shirt, that's the deputy chief. So just so you know who he is. So.
Thank you. Good luck out here. We'll probably be back in town for that meeting on the 22nd.
Okay, I'll be here. I'll definitely be here. But if you got any other questions, feel free to call. And like I said, you can use anything on my channel as long as you credit.
Sounds good.
I don't care.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
making time for us.
Yeah, oh, no problem. Hey, what time do you think I'll be on tonight?
9 o'clock news.
9 o'clock, got it. I'll tell everybody. Trust me, you'll have a huge audience out here tonight. Oh, here I
Nice
get.
to meet you.
Yep, same. There you go, folks. Turbine Guy does another interview with Fox News. Not on the C note this time, but on what's going on at Orno City Hall. Watch it tonight at 9, Fox News. Turbine Guy, signing off.